Hey guys, Mike with Midwest Adventure Life here. Today we are going to give you a quick tour of the 255X Yamaha jet boat. We're going to give you a quick off the water, quick run through what to expect on this boat. Then we're going to take you for a ride and we're going to go into some more details on some specifics, mechanics, and the way the boat can handle. It's got some pivot functions and some cool dock features that we're going to show on this twin engine jet boat. So let's get in. So all the Yamaha jet boats do come standard with a trailer. If you're working with a marina that tells you the trailer is not included in the price, that is definitely a red flag. Start shopping somewhere else. This one is a twin engine. You're going to get about 500 horsepower out of these twins. This one does have the ski module, ski package. So those two flaps can come down to create a larger wake for wakeboarding and skiing. And this does have some underwater lighting. You'll see the light right in the middle there, the two jet nozzles. These are both jet driven, twin engine jet drive. So keep that in mind when you're on the water. It will handle a little differently than a normal IO or even outboard boat. So here we've got our ladder to get in, and we'll start from the back. On the back, under each of these here, you've got you twist this open here, and we're gonna do the same on this side. Now this was just in the water, so in here are what they call scupper valves. So if you reach down in there and you were to suck up some weeds or something in your drive impeller, you're going to twist that, remove that, and you can get to your scupper valves. You can get to everything without getting in the water to remove whatever it is you may have sucked up. Make sure these are latched all the way down. Your engine will not start if that is not latched or not open or not closed properly. Back here you've got storage on both sides. Now these back seats are pretty awesome and they do slide back. So when the boat is underway, you can have more inside room. With it pushed forward, you'll have more room here at the aft of the boat. Now keep in mind, there is no rail, there's no handle here. These seats facing backwards are not legal when the boat is moving. So this is just for anchored, working off the back of the boat sort of thing. So moving in, again, so we can slide these as we just talked about. And then there is a filler in the middle, and you can make that basically a seat all the way across, both bottom and the back of the bench. Under here is where you got your twin SVHO supercharged motors. So this does take premium. So this is where the magic happens. And you will see back here, and I've got also back there, those are the ballast tanks. So when you fill the ballast water to get a little more wake out of the boat, those two you can fill, and you can fill them however you'd like to fill them as far as percentage wise, and we'll show that a little bit when we're on the water. But here's your two engines that push this boat along quite nicely. So moving forward, this opens up and this becomes a table. So great for entertaining if you want to set some snacks or whatever out here. Storage here, and then you've got spot for a cooler right under there. Under here, this side on the back, this is where your batteries are, your battery switches, and then you've also got another ballast tank here. And you've got a ballast tank here. So keep in mind, if you're going to put a bunch of stuff in here for storage, if you start filling ballast tanks, ballast bags, whatever you want to call them, one year they were tanks. Last year I feel like they were tanks. The year before they were bags. I'm not sure why they keep going back and forth. But you're going to lose. You know, you're going to whatever's in here is going to get squished when that gets filled. So keep that filled. So keep that in mind. So as we move forward, you've got nice co-pilot and nice captain's chairs. You've got a ton of storage here. You've got some netting, no shortage of cup holders. You've got a PowerPoint here, more storage for miscellaneous stuff here. And under here, again, just more storage there. On the driver's helm, more cup holders. You've got some storage here. Here's your ignition switch. This will activate the screen and wake up the boat, if you will. It's not doing anything right now because the batteries are turned off. Your throttles for port and starboard motors. You've got your quick access buttons here. We've got, this is kind of like your your central control, and we'll get into that when we talk about the controls and how the boat operates in a minute. Wireless charging for your phone. You've got your screen, which is going to give you navigation and give you all the information you could want from your boat. You do have an auxiliary port if you ever still use that. This does have Bluetooth, and there's another USB charging there. And here you have your start buttons for both port and starboard motor. In the steering wheel, you have paddle, drive, forward, and reverse here. That's great for docking. We'll talk about this. We're going to talk about dock, hold, and pivot turn and all this a little later in the video. And it does come with a tow mirror that just flips up. And in here, this is full of some stuff at the moment. But you can, there's storage for a table. Actually, so you notice this is for toilet paper. You can actually put a head in there if you want. That is an option. I'm not sure I'd want to be in there hanging out, but gotta do what you gotta do. In the floor here, typical ski locker storage. Again, there is a ballast bag down there, so you're going to want to be mindful of what you put in there if you're going to fill that with water. So keep that in mind. And we'll talk about ballast when we get the boat in the water. Moving forward here, again, just more storage, probably more so access to power steering pumps and electronics, and that kind of stuff is what you're going to find in here. I wouldn't use that much for storage. This is kind of cool if you want to, that'll actually latch in. So if you latch that in and you have your cockpit cover on, it will, on a cool day, that will help keep some of the cool air out and the warm air in. It does make a significant difference, believe it or not. All right, so moving forward, there's an absolute ton of space up here. The one thing that Yamaha does really well is it's a bow rider with a V hull, but they push the envelope out. They push the corners out. So look how wide the front of the boat is. You can actually fit a grown adult even this way in the bow of the boat. You can fit two grown people with enough, room for an armrest sort of thing. So the bow of these boats, in my opinion, have just a ton of room. If you peel this up, there's a step. So if you wanted to get in from the front of the boat, you could step here, step down, and step in. And then here we do have another boarding ladder if you're in the water. In here you can hang like a fluke style anchor. It'll hang down in there. It's a cleat right there you can tie off to. So that's a great option for an anchor to put right there on the bow of the boat for storage and for actually using it. So they really thought of everything on this boat. Speakers everywhere, cup holders everywhere. You've got tower speakers here. You've got a wet sounds sound bar here, additional speakers there. You've got speakers up front, speakers back here, and even speakers back there. And the cool thing is we can zone them out on the screen, which we'll show once we get on the water, on how you want to navigate the audio through the boat. Top does somewhat easily fold down. You've got a clip here and you've got one on the other side as well. And basically the arch will fold down and it will hover right about here. If you have some lower bridges, it's not terrible to get it down. This canvas does come off fairly easily, but you can unzip this square and it opens up even easier than taking the whole canvas off. Most people just leave the canvas on and they open up this square area if they want to let some sun into the back. So it does come with the wakeboard racks, I should say. It does come, and again, this one's got the drive features, which is going to have the electronic engine starts for both motors, as well as some of the functions up on the steering wheel, which we're going to talk about. So let's get this thing in the water and we're going to take you for a ride and we'll go through a little more details about how this boat rides, handles, and some of the features. All right, guys, so now we're out on the chain of lakes, we're on the boat, and we're going to show you some of the modes that this steering wheel has. Now, this is new for 2024. Previously, you could not get these functions on a 25-foot boat. You had to opt up to the 27-foot boat in order to get these features. So, Charlie, come over here. We're going to show them a little bit about this and how the boat operates. We're going to start here. You've got one paddle, or one throttle, or two throttle. So what that is, if you back out here, you can control left motor and right motor individually. Now if you come back up here, now there has to be a neutral to change this. You push it one more time, now come back here. Now both motors, if you look at the screen, they're both in forward. Now they're both in neutral, both in reverse. And no matter what I do with this right-hand throttle over here, it makes no difference. If you want to just get it down out of the way, you can do that too. So this boat will drive with one throttle. Now, it used to be on the old boats, if you pushed it again, you'd have a steering wheel. That's not the case anymore. I like generally driving with one throttle on the jet boat. So now what you're gonna do is you're gonna push this mode button once. You'll see it activates, and now it shows up here the little steering wheel. So now all of these features on the steering wheel are active. And this is not new, but the paddles, so this is your reverse. Now you still have to steer, and this is your forward. Some people think like this is left and right. It's reverse and forward, and it's up to about 8 or 9 miles an hour. So that's cool, just if you want to just steer it yourself, forward, get yourself into the pier or whatever, neutral, reverse, you let go, back to neutral. So it's nice, you're not taking your hands off to do that. Now this feature is kind of cool. If you push this and hold this button, if you look kind of at the shore, you're gonna tell that the boat is just going towards the port side. Now here, if I push this high mode, you're gonna see 2 arrows coming up. Now, I will say you do have to take the steering wheel and kind of like navigate it a little bit. But if you look, the boat is literally moving sideways to the port side on its own just by me holding this button. Now, same thing, if I push this right button, we're gonna move towards the starboard side. It's kind of hard to tell, but it definitely works. Now the only thing is you do have to actually steer it to kind of like work it, but it works pretty well. High mode is all it does is it increases the throttle to make those maneuvers a little faster. So now we're going to talk about pivot turn. So if you push pivot turn, what you need to do to activate pivot turn is turn the steering wheel what way you want to pivot. So let's say we want to spin the boat that way. If I turn the steering wheel all the way, this will pop up on the dash, and now the boat is literally spinning on its own axis right now. If you look, we're not going forward, we're not going in reverse, we're literally moving on our own axis. And all I do to stop it is turn the steering wheel back this way. If you want to pivot the other way, just pivot that way, and it will do that. Now the same thing, high mode, you're gonna see 2 arrows come up. It's just gonna do the same thing, but it's gonna do it faster. So it's a great way to spin the boat around. And if you look at the screen, when it goes to pivot mode, forward and reverse, and it's automatically throttling them up. Now, there's another one called dock hold. And what this does is, let's say you're at a pier and someone's hopping on the boat or whatever, put some bumpers out, and if you push dock hold, it will literally hold the boat against the dock. I'm not doing anything. It literally activates the motors and it will push the boat into the pier. We're not against the pier right now, but if I had bumpers out, it's gonna hold it into the pier. Now, to stop it, just push it again. I wouldn't do this if someone's going in and going to the bathroom and they're gonna be 5 minutes. But if you're just, some people are hopping on and you wanna just hold against the pier without tying up your lines, push dock hold. Now, if you're against the other side of the dock, you just push dock hold the other way. So super, super easy. Now to go back to driving the boat normally, literally all you have to do is just put it in gear, and you'll notice I'm back to my 1 stick. Now, if you were driving it with 2 sticks previously, it's gonna go back to 2 sticks, it's gonna go back to whatever you defaulted. So don't overthink these controls. They're actually really easy to people who haven't driven a boat before. I highly suggest them. I'm not gonna say that they're gimmicky, because they do work, but if you've driven a boat before, sometimes you can do these maneuvers yourself. Although I will say I grabbed the left shift today to tie up to another boat, and the other guy in the other boat was like, wow, you really know what you're doing. You know how to drive that boat. And like I told him, like, all I did was push a button. He was super impressed, and it works very well. So I will say it works. So now we're gonna go into some of the other options on the screen. All right, so now that we've talked about the drive functions on the steering wheel, let's show you some of the features on the screen. This is kind of your home screen. You've got your miles per hour, your gauges, pretty standard. Now, mind you, you can do a lot through this as well as touchscreen. So when you're driving, it's kind of nice because you can use the pad over here if you're bumping around. But this is your navigation. So this can show you, where you are on the lake. You can set waypoints. You can do a bunch of different things with navigation. You can actually widen out to the full screen as well. This is your fuel economy. So this is, You can reset your how many gallons, your last trip, or whatever you want to, if you want to keep track of that kind of stuff. This is an interesting one. So this is your part of the wake package. So you can set a target speed. So let's say your initials are MMM. You could change this to MMM. And let's say you want a target speed of 8 miles an hour at a slow acceleration. And there's 3 ballasts. There's port, starboard, and center. And then you can decide what surf point you want out. So we talked earlier on the video about those flaps that come down. So you could pick port or starboard, right? So when you go to surf, you can pick your initials in there, and you have all your presets done. And whoever's driving the boat, they just give it the throttle, and the boat will do itself. So you can take all the driver error out, or the driver anomalies out, the variances out of the equation, and set this how you always want your consistent wave to be on the back of the boat. So pretty cool. And you can set different ballast tanks levels for each person too. So that's awesome. All right, so just to show you guys the ballast, you can see we've got, well, oh, it looks like it's draining right now. We've got ballast water in this one. We're gonna put ballast water in here on this starboard side. We're gonna hit activate. Now if we go back, we're gonna show you the, you'll hear the pumps running. So on the starboard side, you can see the bag. You can see it's filling with water back there, and that pump right to the right is what's going to pump the water in. Now, depending how much ballast you have, there's also ballast up here. So depending on how much you put in, you'll fill that ballast bag as well. And if we stop this and we put drain all, they should be draining. So coming to the music, we've got some Sister Hazel playing. We've got the phone plugged in. If you go to zone control, you can literally pick these different zones. The front, we've got our wake tower, then you've got the back, and then you've got the the back swim deck. So you can pick a zone and actually change the audio level on each zone, which is awesome. This is all your lighting stuff. So at night, these helm lights light up, which is pretty cool. You've got tower lights, these spreader lights up here that light up. You're not gonna probably see too much of it. There's courtesy lights, which you're definitely not gonna see right now. And then docking lights. Guys, docking lights are just that. They're for docking. They are not headlights, okay? So use those for docking only. And then when you click them, it shows you like where on this little screen what's lighting up. And then you've got your nav lights. So your nav is going to turn on your front red and green as well as your anchor. So when you're underway, and then if you're anchored, you got just your anchor light, which is going to be up on top of the tower. So that's for all your light controls and everything else. Here's kind of just the settings. You're going to have you can set your time, your unit, your brightness, auto volume. As you reduce the speed, it will reduce volume. A wellness check will show you your last service done and stuff like that. So all pretty straightforward. This is pretty easy to navigate through. Your bilge pump, if you want to turn it on manually, you can. Blower, if you want to turn it on manually, you can. When you turn on the key, the blower turns on automatically for 5 minutes. Now everything I'm doing here, I can do here. You can hit home. I've got volume. I've got a cruise mode. So what cruise mode is let's say you just want to go through a no wake zone. You want to bump up that speed a little bit. You could cruise up a little bit here just by bumping up or bumping down. I don't know, in my opinion, I'll just give it a little more throttle versus kind of playing with this, but you couldn't ultimately do it through cruise mode. Moving over here, you've got your actual real buttons. So you've got a horn, your bilge, nav lights, blower, and accessory, which you can add stuff here. So these are nice because obviously if you're looking for a horn, you're not going to want to go into your screen yelling, looking for a horn, or if you need to turn your bilge pump on immediately. So, but when you click bilge here, it turns the same on at the screen, right? So when I click it here, it's the same button. It's just multiple ways of getting to the same feature. And then up here, you've got our wireless charger, which is awesome. You've got both your electronic start stops, and you can start each individual motor individually, which I usually start one at a time, just so you're not putting that strain on the battery. We're going to back up a little bit here. You've got depth alarm. Again, it's really, really intuitive as far as what everything does in there, and the screen's very easy to navigate. So next, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go for a little ride. You get an idea for the noise of the boat, the handling of the boat, and we'll just show you kind of how the boat handles. And Charlie and I are gonna go get something to eat. You ready, Charlie?
Yeah.
All right, so we got it in 1 throttle mode, and we're gonna get the boat up on plane. You get to see how quick it planes out, and probably get a little sense for the engine noise as well. So as you can see, it planes out super quick. Now there's no ballast in here right now, so for ski purposes, it wouldn't be what you're after. So the boat does handle very well. It takes turns well. We got some rough waves up here, but the boat does a nice job. My one nitpick would be engine noise. It's louder than like an IO would be, in my opinion. It's not bad, it's just something to note. And but the radio is freaking awesome, so turn up the tunes and enjoy the ride. So everyone always asks, it's always about what the top speed is. And with just Charlie and I on the boat today, we did see 56 with a full tank of gas. But I would say a real number with a bunch of coolers and the family out, you're gonna be in the mid 40s. It does never feel anemic on power. So guys, this is a great family boat. If you're looking for a boat for the chain, great boat. That being jet drive certainly helps. And if you're looking for something like this, check out Nielsen Enterprises Marine Center in Lake Villa. They've got a ride for every rider. They've been in business for over 55 years, and they will make sure that you get handled. They sell a ton of Yamaha products, and this is a great boat for the chain or for anywhere else for that matter. But thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Leave a comment. Let us know what you think of this new Yamaha boat. And as always, like and subscribe. We'll see you on the water.